I just recently disconnected myself from Lovii Elias and Revelation Church. Due to the severity of recent events and events to come, I don't want my exit to be left up to speculation. I am no longer going there, and here's why. For those who don't know me, my name is Wes Tart, and I'm one of the OGs from the house that Revelation started at. I considered Lovii one of my best friends and my older brother. He called me his little brother, for those who know me. My mom would call him his son. He would call her mom. So we were like this. When I moved out to LA in 2012, I moved with two of my best friends. I met up with JD here. JD had already moved here. JD was his personal photographer. I'll get back to that later. We were all in the music industry. We came out to LA to pursue music, of course. Form of entertainment, right? Upon going to a music shop, they met Lovii. They found out that he was Christian as well, and that he hosted a Bible study at his house. So of course they came back to me and said, hey, this music producer also has Bible study at the house. So in our minds, we're like, okay, cool. We want to be in the industry with God-fearing people. I actually worked with Maggie at a call center at the time. This is 2016. But Lovii and I bonded more than everyone else because not only was he in music, but he was also a huge fan of MMA. And because he was a huge fan of MMA, we'd watch all the UFC fights together. He actually took me to my home Muay Thai gym now, which is Saxon's Academy. Maggie and Lovii weren't dating yet. I believe she was a photographer at the time. Fast forward to 2020, COVID happens, everything shuts down. Him and Maggie are now dating, and he's doing lives at his house. The campaign. I was notoriously known for dropping $3,000 in all hundreds for that church fund for the new building that is now Revelation Church. I don't know if y'all remember, I was like, at all hundreds, like with the $100 bills. And I didn't know of any current relationship or any prior relationship to them other than Ida, his ex-wife. 2022, we did our first fight tournament together. After that, we became like this. I was sitting front row at the church. The whole church had to fast. I didn't have to fast. I was with the prophet. The rules didn't apply to me. He's on FaceTime with this girl. At the time, I didn't think nothing of it because he runs a ministry. He's on the phone all the time. Anyway, he hands me the phone because he's trying on shoes. I go, hey, what's your name? Gigi Rodriguez? And I was like, Rodriguez? Dang, we gotta watch out for you. Like, you know what they say about Spanish girls, like, y'all are crazy or whatever. So I hand him the phone back and he was like, yeah, she bad, right? Like, she look good. And I was like, yeah, but she's Spanish, bro. You gotta watch out for them. They're kind of crazy. You know, just joking. Now, fast forward to end of 2024, top of this year, EJ comes out. Gigi comes out with her video exposing that, you know, they dated and she had the receipts and stuff. December and February, I was noticing key members leaving the church. And I'm just like, really, y'all? Cause of like a mistake that he did? Like, the first one to go was my boy JD. He was his personal photographer. Mike Dupree, I've known Mike for a decade. So when Mike left, I was like, I know he didn't leave because of Gigi. Right? Sorry. I'm on the phone with Lovii crying because of how mad I am at how unloyal people are because of one mistake. Like, I was just drinking the juice, right? So then boom, Mike Dupree leaves. Mike is gone, JD is gone. I woke up, it was 2 in the morning. I had the craziest unction to pray. Well, I woke my fiance up and I was just like, we gotta pray right now. 5 minutes, it was just just for elevation and just, last year being broke, and cause that's another thing, I'll get to that later. But last year being broke, for doors to open and all that stuff, and just for anything that's holding us back to remove itself, right? So after that prayer, this white lady, I think her name is Katie, she's crying about how passion had raped her and how he did the same thing to Trinity, right? Now, for those who don't know, I know Trinity and her mom. We're locked into. I engineered her first song when she was 15, turning 16. This was in 2022. And we released it under my label too, Tart Empire. I've always had, my instincts have never failed me. And I can confidently say that now. I have red flags that come up, or my instincts pop up, and I'm like, something's not right. And the Sheridan video drops. The Sheridan video drops, and I'm just like, what? Because I was there from 2020 to 2022. I've seen Sheridan in church. Like, I'll give her a hug every time I see her. Like, she's a homie, she's cool. I didn't know these niggas had a whole relationship. I'm over here defending you left and right over this Gigi situation. And this whole time, 2 years before that, you had an intimate relationship with this woman too. That same afternoon, my friend, he calls me. He goes, Wes, I got to tell you something. I'm like, what's up? The time he left, when he called me, he said, look, I've been afraid to talk to you or tell you, but I've had my reservation since December, and our other best friend had left. We've been afraid to talk to you and tell you because you're so close to Lovii. Every time we've been wanting to tell you, you'll post on your story, love you forever. He'll post you on a story, love you forever, happy birthday. Mind you, this is happening between March and May. So he lays it out for me, right? And at that moment, I realized that when Lovii would call me asking about him, It was to find out if he had told me what he knew already. Because he knew that you knew this, and you hadn't told me yet. And when I tell you, it was the grimiest, God forgive my language, I had ever found out that a friend could do to both of them. You did some grimy stuff to two of my best friends. It affected them greatly, and for legal reasons, I can't even talk about it. Say for me, what I found out then was Trinity got confirmed for me. It was enough for me to say, okay, this really happened. And that's when I just said, because what you're not going to do is defend a man who does that, one, and two, play with my loyalty. What my friend also told me was that people were experiencing severe dryness in their life, right? Severe dryness. And I was just like, whoa. My friend who left, when they finally got me on the phone, when they finally were able to talk to me, he goes, bro, I was so dry, it was embarrassing. Like, I'm talking about I had to ask my mom for money. I was like, wait a minute. And then homie was saying the same thing. I was like, wait a minute. They dried up song in the background. They dried up song in the background. I guess I'm drying up song in the background. Guess what was happening to him? He said he was drying up so bad that it was scaring him after he had such a successful year the year before.
Now, Wes, let me help you understand something of why all of you were experiencing a financial drought while being connected to, that so-called prophet. It's like if someone go and gets their money and they give it to a witch doctor, financially, they'll be cursed, which means a demon will have its way in your finances, in your jobs. That's why you experience people trying to try. You think about Gigi. Gigi was obviously getting paid, getting these cash apps and PayPals from Revelation Church through Ovi, right? And she was experiencing a dryness in herself, her business not really going. And once, she ended up speaking out a little bit before that, obviously, the flow of money stopped coming in. And she had to pick up her cross and just start from nothing. And even Sheridan experienced a dryness. Sheridan herself, she said that she was giving all her money to the point where she didn't have money. And her own father was like in a home. Her own father was homeless. I believe it was like in a shelter or something like that. And she was giving all her money to the prophet of God. But she wasn't giving it to her dad, and she was going broke herself. Now, the money that these people are getting, it is not a blessing. It is to make you dependent upon that man, while simultaneously an evil spirit is waging war against your life. And that's why when you expose a guy and you no longer get the money from him, it seems like you're just in your own life, nothing is working. You go here, nothing works out. You try this, nothing works out. This is a high sign of you either needing deliverance or you need to engage into spiritual warfare, or the amount of time that you were there in those years, there have been evil spirits that have been working against your life, because the Bible says the devil comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And the truth is that so many people were in covenant with the devil without knowing it. Even EJ, things started to dry up. Look at the testimonies of the people. EJ drying up, Gigi drying up, Sheridan, Wes, all these. Think about it. This false prophet will be a multi-millionaire, and his best friends will have nothing. A false prophet will be a multi-millionaire, but their best friends have nothing. Your blessing, everything, it has been used. Your money has been used. The sex you were giving has been used at an evil altar.
And it was embarrassing for me because people would be like, how are you so close? And I'm broke. Yeah, that I'm house sitting in a multi-million-dollar house, but I come home to an apartment that barely has the elevator working. Mm-hmm.
How are you so close but broke? How are you house sitting a house worth multi-millions of dollars, but you yourself, you go home to an apartment that barely has an elevator working? Oh my goodness. May God open your eyes. And some of you, the blessing that was supposed to be for you, a lot of these guys spiritually, you may not agree with me, they have taken it. The money God had for you to flourish, to invest, to use, to buy this, to buy that, to give to the poor so you can be blessed, they have taken it and said, give to the prophet, don't give to the poor, because if you give to the poor, you come into agreement with the poor. But guess what? You've been given to the so-called prophet, and look at you. You're dry. So the things that he promised, that if you give to here, then this will happen, this blessing, but dryness. Dryness.
Fast talking car salesman. Really came from Africa, smacked us over the head and made some millions.
Whew. Came from Africa, smacked us over the head and made millions.